I think offshore and AI is the two really biggest. Is it disruption?
Evolution.
I'm going to borrow that. I like that. Evolution. Where do you see it all going? What's the role of the future broker going to be?
What's going to make a good broker, especially as tech evolves and the capabilities of offshore staff evolves, what's going to make a good broker is someone who can really deeply connect to a person and make sure that they're supporting them in every aspect of their finance. So that's, again, why we're doing this big education push, because are you going to go and find a broker who's got the same amount of banks on panel, who can offer the same home loan, basically? Are you going to go to the one who says, okay, I'm going to help you with your education piece to get you there. Once you're educated, I'm going to make sure that I'm putting you in touch with a financial advisor that will help you with your cash flow and budget, an insurance provider that's going to make sure that if there's something that happens to you on the road tomorrow, your family will be taken care of.
Do you think this buy now, pay later phenomenon is... Just your reaction tells me everything we want to know. With the buy now and pay later, has this fueled this whole, movement about, getting money's easy?
What's happened with buy now, pay later is you don't need to delay anything. You can have whatever you want. Future you will pay it off, right? So it's switched this mentality from you save up for what you want to we pay it back once we have it. But we've already had that spike. We've already got the thing that we want. So we haven't actually been rewarded for putting the money aside. So really, when it comes to if someone's using buy now, pay later really frequently, they're actually losing the gratification you get from saving up to a goal, because you don't need to do that.
Being a broker, right, is not an easy job. A lot of moving parts. We're dealing with people. They have epiphanies. They change their mind. They think going to multiple brokers, if you wanted to put a to-do list to people out there about what they should ask to find their right broker, what's that list? Like, what should you be asking these brokers? Because it's kind of like dating, right? You want to find the broker that resonates with you. What's your list of things that they should be asking that broker? Hi all, here we go again. Today, I have Rachael McKenzie from the Loan Gallery Finance. How are you today, Rachel?
I'm good, Tav. How are you?
Good. Well, this is the first time you and I have met. We both know, Emma and Sienna from Accelerate Marketing. And when they came to us with this proposal, I went, you know what, this would be a great chat. And I've been thoroughly looking forward to this. So how you been today?
Yeah, good.
I understand that you're like one of the go-to people with finance in Victoria.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
I've been doing some checking on you, and like a lot of people say some very good things about you. So, why finance? Why do you work in the finance sector?
I fell into finance actually.
Do tell. How did you fall in?
So I came from a sales role. So I was selling memberships at a gym. Ended up working on the front desk a lot. And actually one of our members at the gym started dating one of the personal trainers there and was around a lot.
I bet you that happens a bit.
Yeah. Again, was coming in and hanging out a lot at the gym and we got talking, and she came to me one day and told me I was working too hard to be working front desk at a gym. And just so happened that her admin was going on maternity leave, and she presented me the opportunity, and I told her, I know basic finance, don't know anything about mortgage broking home loans. And she said to me, she's like, look, I can teach you home loans, can't teach you work ethic. So I think it'd be a good fit.
What I love about that is a lot of young people don't realize, they get a job, but they're always trying to get more money on this, where they don't understand that the job that they've had is going to teach them I bet you some of the skills that you learned in the gym, selling gym memberships, you still use to this day. Tonality, understanding what the person needs, maybe upselling them. You're the ops manager for Loan Gallery Finance. Mm-hmm. What does that mean on a day-to-day basis?
So my role's become pretty all-encompassing in the business. So I oversee our admin team. So we have 3 different teams across 2 countries, India and the Philippines. So I oversee them, their day-to-day training, upskilling, just helping them out with systems processes. I also manage our main CRM and the systems, automations, processes we have in place on that front, as well as I've sort of found myself working a bit on the sales side too. So some new referrers that I've brought in, I'm overseeing that relationship, as well as liaising a lot with our marketing team as well. Obviously, the girls at Accelerate that we both know well have connected us.
Yes.
So yeah, the role's pretty much, it's ended up covering a lot in the business, higher level to like a lot of the strategy planning as well. I have a pretty big part in, and I'm very lucky that at Lone Gallery I get a lot of autonomy in that, so I actually get to build out a lot of new initiatives in the business.
I was going to say that you're definitely you come across to me as a self-starter. Obviously, mortgages, finance, you're dealing with people's livelihoods, people's lives. When people come to you looking for, maybe it sounds like you do a lot of first mortgages, first home buyers, consolidation loans. What's something that you feel that people kind of miss the point with what you're trying to do? Like, do they come with all their paperwork in order? Is it more of an education piece? What are you looking for when you're looking for, like, we understand what you're looking for referral partners, but when you're looking for the type of finance loans that you do, how do you sell that to your clients?
Yeah, well, I think a very common misconception for a lot of people is that you approach the mortgage broker when you've got the savings ready to go.
Yep.
But really, a lot of people that are doing that are losing the opportunity to actually speak to a professional about the best way to get to their savings sooner.
Right.
So we're really trying to get people at the start of their journey.
Okay.
We want to educate people not just on incentives that are available, how much money they can save, how much they can borrow, but different ways they can get there sooner. We've got some great referral partners that help with the utility comparisons. We can do comparisons for insurance. We can find ways to help you save money, so your budget is easier, but also we can have a conversation with you about different strategies with your saving, whether it's like first home super saver scheme, structuring your cash flow a different way to help you based on like your habits and how you save too. So, and again, some people end up saving more than they actually needed to. So they actually could have got into the market a lot sooner. So for us, we're really trying to tell people, if you think you could start saving for a home, then we're happy to take you and talk to you, whether you're 6 months away or 18 months away. We're happy to support you from the very start of your journey. We're not going to turn you away and say, come back when you're ready.
You mentioned something that I've heard of before but know very little about. What's this super savings scheme?
It's brilliant. So it's one of the few government initiatives that really benefit everyone as well. So it's a way that basically you use your superannuation as a savings account, basically. So you put some extra money into your super.
Okay, which you get a tax deduction for.
Exactly. So you're paying that 15% concessional rate rather than generally you're sitting about that 30% tax rate. So you're already putting an extra 15% towards your savings while also getting the returns that you get in super, which especially if you are young, tend to be at an accumulation phase. So you're looking at roughly, if you've got a good performing super fund, 6 to 9% return on what you've got invested. Rather than a high interest account, it's maybe 4% if you're lucky. Basically, it's also locking it away too. So you don't just get added to a group chat that's Bali 2027 and think, oh, the house is 2 years away, Bali's next year, I'll just pull some cash out to put that aside. You don't get that opportunity because it's locked away. If you decide one day that you want to pull that money out for something that's not going to be your first home, you would need to pay back the tax incentive that you got. Exactly. So it's a really good way for people who know they want to get there with their savings but worry they don't have the discipline potentially, or they know that it's going to be a lot easier, especially depending on like how much tax they're paying too.
There's a perceived notion out there that home ownership is becoming unattainable. Like they call it the Australian dream.
Yeah.
Is it becoming more unattainable, or is it because there's a lack of education out there on exactly what schemes are available, what you can do, and then to get people on the property ladder?
Yeah, I think it's naive to say that it's not harder. It
I don't
definitely is.
I'm not saying it is and isn't.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying we see a lot of brokerages that sometimes a lot of people go out to market and they actually downplay that it is really hard, especially now. Fuel's more expensive.
Yeah.
Rent has gone up a crazy amount in the past 5 years. A lot of what we see online as well, there's people that aren't acknowledging a lot of level of privilege they get too. So obviously there's some people who get to live at home and save money up that way. That's not something we talk about really. So there's definitely, it's a lot harder than what it is. But if we fall into the trap and we let, especially young Australians, fall into the trap of thinking, okay, there's no hope, there's no point, I'm going to rent forever, there's no point me saving, why bother learning about it? There's definitely ways if we start people really early, especially in their working careers, set them up with these strategies like the First Home Super Saver Scheme, educating them, it's going to set them ahead while blocking out all the noise that it's impossible. It's possible, it's hard, but the sooner you speak to a professional about it and put a plan in place, the better set up you're going to be.
From the way you're talking to me is I can really hear the passion that you have in your voice about finance. Where do you think that comes from?
I've grown up, I actually grew up out in Gippsland, so country Victoria.
I know it well, yep.
And I went to public school and I very much saw the disparity between the kids in my class, especially in high school, who have clearly never had a conversation with money with their parents. It's not a topic that's spoken about. It's not something they're educated about. I was quite lucky. Like my nan is my role model, always taught me about finance, always made sure, put on the value of saving, put in the value of earning. So I started doing odd jobs as much as I could, started umpiring netball when I was about 12. Anyway, I could get some cash in even before I got a job at 14, 9 months I did. And I really saw the differences in outcomes in people's lives for those who just didn't have that financial education in place, and the life that they had, and sort of the mentality that their kids had as well, and the drive that they had, versus myself, who was quite lucky to learn that quite young. And yeah, it's never, I don't ever think it's a character fault to not be financially educated. Sometimes it's just a head in the sand, something that we're raised with from childhood that a lot of the time feels like a big learning barrier. And I feel like if we can just break down that barrier and help people understand the psychology of money and how much your childhood is going to affect your spending habits, but also that they're learned habits and they're things that you can learn strategies to harness your money story in a more positive way as well.
Talk to me more about that. Like, you learn from your parents a lot of things, but also your environment. So are you saying to me there's a lot of, well, I see it all the time, is people with their money habits have inherited them. They've always done it that way, and they don't understand little changes equal a big outcome. And it's the buying a home is more attainable than they think. Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of habits that we take on from our families. If you don't have money around a lot, there's people who will react in certain ways. There's some people who don't have lots of money and they saw parents who very much held on to the value of $1 and really made sure that they were squirreling everything away. Or you've got people who money wasn't around too much, so they spent it as soon as they got it. If that's the lifestyle that you've been raised up in, like a lot of the time, those are the habits you form yourself. Where some people will squirrel away money, always need a very big savings buffer and never want to put it to anything just in case. Or as soon as they get money in, they're spending X, they're worried they'll lose it in some other way and they don't get to enjoy it. So that's really interesting. Like you're seeing a lot in the work that you're doing that people are spending money because they're worried that they're not going to be able to enjoy it later.
Yeah. So
tell me more about that, because that's fascinating.
Yeah. So I actually, outside of my work with Loan Gallery, I do some financial wellbeing mentoring at a organisation called Bridget.
Tell me more about that.
So they offer housing support. So they have a big residential mansion, basically that helps house young women and gender diverse people who have experienced housing instability, so homelessness or the foster care system.
Yep.
So the young people that I meet and work with are generally between the ages of sort of 18 to 21.
Wow, really?
Yeah, really young. And it's really interesting to see a lot of them, again, have just not had money growing up, really. Like it's not something that's ever been spoken about or had available for them. And you really see the difference in behaviours with them, where some of them will just make sure by the Wednesday before they get paid out, like the day before, there's going to be no money in their account because they're going to get paid tomorrow.
Interesting.
Whereas there's others who just will not spend any money on themselves, will not treat themselves at all because they're worried about slipping back into having nothing. And again, like that comes back to whether money was discussed at all. Some parents who are squirreling away money are constantly talking about the value of money and how important it is. Whereas those who are spending a lot, sometimes it's just not even discussed. And so there's not that knowledge of, okay, we need to save for a rainy day. And you find that a lot of the time it sits into extremes. And when I'm talking especially to these young people, I'm trying to get them to meet in the middle. Like, it's okay to reward yourself. It's okay. Like, we work hard. We should be able to, if there's a concert coming up that you know you're going to remember for years and years, that's something we want to spend our money on. But it's not ordering Uber Eats for every meal just because you don't want to cook and go through that labor. So it's it's a lot of having these conversations really early, like 18 to 21 is a fantastic time to really question and understand why people have formed these habits and then redirect them into something that's more positive, more sustainable and helping them with their future.
Do you think it's a lot to do with their self-belief, their core values, and also them not wanting to go back to this traumatic period of their life? So they're holding on to this money, basically thinking that, but this could run out one day. And like that having money, that like the feeling of having money over the fact that, you know, going to that concert, especially 18 to 21. I mean, people when they're young teenage to 20s, and they come to me for career advice, I always go to them, like, go live your 20s. Like, I actually say to them, you can completely fuck your 20s up and still have the most balling life ever. Like, they kind of feel like that, you know, they have to make every perfect step. And I personally believe it's why anxiety's gone through the freaking roof, because people are not enjoying the moment, but at the same time as well, maybe too much enjoying them. They don't live in balance.
Yeah.
And I can see the work that you're doing is like really, really important to do. Did you always know that you were going to get into this sort of mentorship role when it comes to finance, when you started in finance, or did you sort of fell into it?
It's definitely something I've always wanted to do. I've come from, I've done a lot of volunteering like throughout my life. There's always been some kind of way that I've tried to give back. And yeah, I've always wanted to get into mentoring. And again, I was lucky enough to, someone who knows this organisation and knows me quite well actually reached out to me and said, look, I've had a chat with the CEO of Bridget. They're looking for someone to help these young women with finance, and they can't have just a financial advisor in a suit walk in and tell these young girls like, oh, I can tell you about money. I know, I know better than you. Listen to me. They were like, look, you walk in with your tattoos, you sound a bit bogan, you'll make things simple for them. You've come from an upbringing that's not a polished private school, university life. They'll listen to you in a different way. And it's been fantastic. Like,
were you surprised how well you were received? Like,
yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that. Like, obviously, you know, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I've got this. But like, obviously you had some doubts, and I'm just really curious, you know, because it sounds like you're really thriving with it. Yeah,
I definitely, one thing I was really thinking was it would take a while for these young people to open up as well, because money is very taboo for so many people as well.
Really? Okay.
It holds a point of shame for a lot of people too.
Having it or the lack of?
The lack of having it.
Okay.
Yeah. It holds a lot of shame, and it's very much a put your head in the sand kind of feel. But yeah, there's been so many who have just been really, really open with me as well. it's great for them because I sit as an external source. I'm not tied into the groups that are doing their like job counselling or their like housing support. So really they can be really open and honest with me. And again, it's something where I very much put all the learning back on them, but it's just an open point of, okay, like we were saying before, you know, live your 20s, you can make all these mistakes, but it's making conscious, thinking about what you value and having the money that you spend go towards what you value. So if you value experiencing your 20s, what does experiencing look like? Is it traveling for you? Is it making sure that you've got a nice car? Do you care about the car that you drive? Is that an interest for you? Is it going to concerts? Like, are those the things you value? Okay, great. Let's look at everything you're spending in a month. Highlight the things that are what you value. Highlight what's essential. Let's see what's left and pull that out, because those things in your 20s, those little, you know, like Uber Eats because you can't be bothered like a couple of times a week, those small habits that compound, stripping those out will set you up better. And yeah, I was really surprised like coming into this with these young people, just how many were willing to sit down with me, pull up their banking, go through statements and be really honest and reflective about it. It's really nice to be like a safe place for them. And I think, yeah, it's good as well, like being someone who's like corporate-y but doesn't sound corporate to them.
But it's all in your tonality. Like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, it's how you act. You know, speaking about Uber Eats, I was surprised, especially the pricing. Like, it's a real, especially for young people, I can see that being a real trap.
Yeah, and people don't realise, like, especially if you just walk down there, it's not even going to be cheaper the delivery. It actually charges you higher on the cost of the item as well.
Yeah, and that's, one day I mean, that's what blew out from COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a lot of people didn't use Uber Eats until COVID, and then, you know, it was a whole learned behaviour. Speaking of learned behaviour, once you put these values into these kids for financing and getting them, do you see them? Do you see the positive result? Like, or are they kind of fighting with their inner demons on this? Like,
yeah, I mean, I've had some really, really good feedback, even from their support workers too, and the people at Bridget have come back to me and said, you know, there's some people who've like really taken a proactive step with, no, I understand, like I can save up. I've helped one of them go and get an ABN so that she does a lot of lived experience talks and consults with different groups. And like she was in Parliament a couple of weeks ago, like talking to politicians, incredible. And before she came and chatted to me, she was getting paid out in gift cards because she didn't have an ABN. And I was like,
I heard you, but what?
I know. And I was like, no, an ABN, let's sit down. Let's set this up now. I think she popped her head in really quickly and was like, oh, I need to set this up. And I was like, great, sit down. We're doing it right now.
How is that legal to pay someone in gift cards?
Yes. Yeah.
Red flags. Here we go. Like,
I know.
I'm surprised you didn't get caught. Like,
you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And I'm just like, all the red light going off in my head about, oh man, I'm glad you caught it. What I would really love to talk to you about now is your work with Bridget is very, you know, it's great. It's extremely positive to the community, and I love work like that and giving back. And you know, you must get a lot of, you know, good, you know, people hear about you, and you know they want to come to you. With obviously, and the Loan Gallery understands that, you know, why you're doing this work.
Yeah.
And we all only have 8 hours in a day, 38, 40 hours a week. Sometimes I work more than that. But when it comes to doing your job more efficiently, what has come into the industry since you've been there that's really started to make you more efficient, so you've got more time to work with Bridget and things like that? Yeah,
well, I mean, the tech that's evolved since I've come into broking has been phenomenal. It's funny, like our company, we've got brokers who have been in the industry for close to 2 decades now.
Yeah.
So trying to get them to really understand the evolution of tech and have them change their working habits to use the tech. That change management piece has been the hard piece, but what we've been able to bring in again is saving massive time. Like I was having a chat with a para broker that I'm looking to move into that role, and she turned around and asked, like, with my admin teams and the tech that they're using, how long it's taking them to get a file through, and I'm saying maybe an hour.
Is that all?
Yeah. So we've got brokers, if they're having their meetings efficiently, asking the right questions, we've got AI systems in place, pulling ideas out of their conversations to understand their current situation, what their goals are, what loan situation works for them, putting together notes for them. That's going into the system. We've then got our like incredible admin staff who can look at those notes, feed it all through, understand exactly what they're going to put when it comes to the compliance notes, making sure that any recommendations those clients need about if they need insurance reviews, things like that, they're also touched on. But again, it just opens our brokers up to spend so much more time talking to clients. My staff as well, the admins, it's incredibly hard for them to make a wrong decision or mess things up because everything's getting checked. We're making sure all documents are being scanned as well. So we're making sure there's flags for any potential fraud and everything too. So
yeah,
again,
the fraud checks are insane.
And the human eye gets lazy too. Like if it's your third time scoping through bank statements that day, sometimes you'll skim. It's human nature as well. And when it comes to the tech's not going to get lazy.
I know a lot of brokers, especially, I've been in business for 15 years now and I've had a couple of companies. I remember like starting out 15 years ago, like, oh shit, we've done the deal. Tav, can you send me a copy of your passport or driver's license? Like just all this stuff that was just like always thought about. And even with all the, AI and the compliance that's coming in, obviously the reason why you're so good at your job is because you're so approachable. And people feel comfortable to talk to you and maybe talk, we need this, but I'm worried about something like this happened previously. But the technology is so good now with credit reporting and like that you really can know something about someone like that, especially if as soon as you get permission on their tax file number, address and stuff. Are people surprised how much information that you already know about them when they come and see you?
To an extent, I feel like a lot of people are surprised by how much information we need as well. Because like you were saying, maybe, again, before I was in industry, but like the amount of documents you needed to get a home loan were nowhere near as vast as what you do now. Like they want to, like the closest thing they're going to ask for sometimes is your blood type as well. Like again, which makes sense. If I was a bank and I was giving you $1 million, I'd want to know a lot about you. But people that haven't done a loan in a long time, they're very much surprised by how much information that we actually need and to double check too. Like bank statements is one that people always get a little bit arky about.
Because I think it's an invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like I put it down to your iPhone, right? When you upgrade your, your software and you go through, you need to sign the terms and conditions. Did anyone actually, I don't know, do you read that? I don't read that. Do you read that? You wouldn't read that. Scroll through, enter, bang, right? And then like the paperwork, the compliance, but like prime example, Commonwealth Bank has just self-reported itself to the cops. That's $1 billion. $1 billion that's just gone like paperwork out the door. Are you telling me that all the paperwork on that was legit? Like, and I guess now that how we work as brokers, and I understand, you're working in the industry and things like that, but like when people say, I'm really surprised how much paperwork you need to supply, are they, at the end of the day, you're not loaning them a couple of $100. you're loaning against an asset or a consolidation loan. And I would think the paperwork for a consolidation loan would be more than a home loan because we've already know where the asset is. Within 30 seconds we could do we roughly know what within reason what that asset's worth. Why do you think people are so guarded about this sort of stuff when they're worried that they're going to, I don't know, you know the industry more than I do.
I mean, money's taboo, right? Like people don't like sharing their bank statements with their spouse, let alone
that's a good point.
Broker. Again, like we're not looking at statements with judgment, but people assume that someone in finance is really good at finance, which working in finance, knowing a lot of people, not true necessarily. But I think it becomes people just get guarded about money. Like people really, which is again, like I think a hangover from prior generations as well. I think our generation is getting a lot better with having money conversations, but for a lot of people, they're not talking about it. And they're in denial a lot of the time. Like when they want to supply their spending statements, it's like, well, I don't want to look at how much I'm spending. Therefore, I don't want you to have a look at how much I'm spending.
That's a good point. Do you think this buy now, pay later phenomenon is just your reaction tells me everything we want to know? The question I want to ask is not the question you're probably used to being answered. With the buy now and pay later, has this fueled this whole sort of, movement about, well, getting money's easy? Because buy now, pay later is like, I pay a lot of my bills on BPay and also PayPal. I got it offered to me automatically without even there. It was just in the app and like pre-approved limit. I'm like, cool. Like I didn't even ask for it. Yeah. Is that why people are like, when they come to, how dare you ask for this? Because I've got all this other stuff going on.
Yeah, I think, buy now, pay later is definitely, again, detach people from their money. Like I remember when I was like even in high school and working a retail job and I saw this really nice dress and I went and lay-byed the dress.
I grew up on lay-by.
Exactly. We had this, it was delayed gratification, right? What's happened with buy now, pay later is you don't need to delay anything. You can have whatever you want. Future you will pay it off, right? So it's switched this mentality from you save up for what you want to we pay it back once we have it. But we've already had that spike. We've already got the thing that we want. So we haven't actually been rewarded for putting the money aside. So really when it comes to if someone's using buy now, pay later really frequently, they're actually losing the gratification you get from saving up to a goal because you don't need to do that. Like you can do holidays rather than saving up for your holiday, counting down the weeks, putting the money aside. You book everything already in advance. So you continue to sort of live this life. I think it's really shifted a lot of people's mentality. And I think that's why so many people struggle really hard to save because they're not even saving for the little things. Like they're not saving for a nice like dress or something because they can get it now. So why would you save 5 years for a house?
And then resell the dress straight away.
Yeah, like why would you save for a house for several years when you haven't built up the discipline to save up for something that's
and you said it before when people say, oh, do I want to save the house or go to that trip to Bali?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Now I'm starting to get this because I just work all the time. So what I'd really love to have a chat to you about is you mentioned at the start of this chat, you've got 2 teams offshore.
Yes.
It sounds like they're very key to the business. Why are they? Because I know a lot of people use offshore. They like it, they don't like it, but you seem like it's very big in the loan industry. Why is that?
I think for us, we found that like we've got incredible talent overseas. Yeah. Like we've got our analysts based out of India, who again, I've got a team of incredible women there, MBA educated, so eager, really see growth in their role as they are. And then we've got our customer service team who are based in the Philippines, and some of our sort of loan admins too. And they're doing an incredible job there and see growth within those roles. in Australia, the mortgage broking industry, like in a lot of ways, it's not an industry an admin wants to work in. Like we found it's incredibly repetitive, and the majority of people that do want to come in to become a broker.
Yep.
That's what they're striving for. They don't want to be doing sitting down and doing home loan reviews and things like that. And they don't see growth that way because they're surrounded by all these brokers. So we found, again, the incredible talent that we get and also the opportunities that we can give to like our offshore teams as well. They're not people who, like, I've spoken to my staff and they absolutely really enjoy their role and they love taking on more and more ownership.
Do you find though, when you're dealing with your clients, do you tell them that their information is going offshore? Or what I meant by that is like dealing with an offshore team, processing stuff, because a couple of my suppliers use them as well. And I find that I've got to be, protect information, but like, if they knew the amount of AI that sifts through applications, if they knew that they go, oh, hang on, they feel like they're losing control of it. And I guess offshoring is becoming more and more. It's just inevitable. I think offshore and AI is the two really biggest. Is it disruption?
Evolution.
I'm going to borrow that. I like that. Evolution. Where do you see it all going? Like you've been in the industry long enough. You've got good skill set. Where do you see your evolution going with all this? Like, what's the role of the future broker going to be?
What's going to make a good broker, especially as tech evolves and the capabilities of offshore staff evolves, what's going to make a good broker is someone who can really deeply connect to a person and make sure that they're supporting them in every aspect of their finance. So that's, again, why we're doing this big education push, because are you going to go and find a broker who's got the same amount of banks on panel, who can offer the same home loan, basically? Are you going to go to the one who says, okay, I'm going to help you with your education piece to get you there. Once you're educated, I'm going to make sure that I'm putting you in touch with a financial advisor that will help you with your cash flow and budget, and insurance provider that's going to make sure that if there's something that happens to you on the road tomorrow, your family will be taken care of because we've just helped you get this huge debt commitment. In a couple of years' time, in a couple of years' time, we're going to review where your home loan sits and think, okay, what's the plan for the next 5 years after this? Are you gearing up for retirement? Are you looking to grow your asset pools? Are you looking to upsize? Do we need to think about your kids going into private school or university? What's going to make a good broker is someone that sees not just a transaction, but a whole person with financial goals, aspirations. A 30-year loan term is generally what we're signing people on for. So we need to be supporting people for that entire 30 years, every aspect of their future. And good brokers, especially ours now, are doing that. And I think they're going to be ahead of the curve with a lot of this.
Why?
I just think that there's a lot of people, especially when you look at industry, it's about volume, it's about numbers, it's about getting as many people through as possible rather than making sure that the time that they're spent with those people is genuine, not just talking about the home loan, not just trying to make sure you get your 10 appointments in a week. It's, did I sit down and have a really good chat with John and Sarah? Did John and Sarah talk to me about what their plans are in the next 3 years, 5 years? Did I give them room to do that? Did I make sure that once they get their home loan, I'm letting them know, okay, I'm going to support you, making sure that you can afford this home loan should something happen to you. And I just don't think there's a lot of brokers that have built up that network in place. Whereas, at Loan Gallery, we've made sure that we've got those systems in place. We've got that structure. And again, our brokers are really going to be people who hold your hand over and beyond a 30-year loan term. Like, that's what good brokers are going to be, and that's what we're setting all our systems up to support.
Not that this is a problem, but I'll tell you something. I divorced when I was 31, and it took me, we had a fair few properties together. We spent a lot of 20s together building that up. And when we divorced, we sold it and moved on. But it took me a good 3 to 4 years post-divorce to really like get, not my fans is bad, and I'm not saying divorce is a bad thing. Like it happens, right? And you find like you have this, you don't go into something thinking you're going to go out of it. Like, you know what I mean? And like I've used the same broker for 25 years. Like, you might 27 knows me now. And like, I remember going to my broker saying, hey, I've just separated from my wife. I'm back in Australia. I was living in the UK with her. We got to go through that. And he literally helped me put a plan together on how. So I really resonate with what you said there because, yes, brokers get a clip and a commission and on the loan, 100%. And I think that's fair. And I'll go on record to say that when the government tried to stop that, it was the stupidest thing in the world. Like, you just like messing with people's right to work is, you know, people make money from broker. I do, you know, your work and my work is very similar. I own a recruitment company. You know, I make a commission on the hourly rates, and we make a commission on the perm placements, and that's fine. I haven't got a problem with that. And anyone who does, at the end of the day, we're all going to make a buck. But I really like what you've said about brokers are like, they're really important. You know, people go, I'll just go direct to the bank to get a loan. That's great. But like, when you go, like, when you need a professional, do you do your own dental work? Do you do your own doctor's work? Maybe you do with searching the internet, but like, being a broker, right, is not an easy job. A lot of moving parts. We're dealing with people. They have epiphanies. They change their mind. They think going to multiple brokers, if you wanted to put a to-do list to people out there about what they should ask to find their right broker, what's that list? Like, what should you be asking these brokers? Because it's kind of like dating, right? You want to find the broker that resonates with you. What's your list of things that they should be asking that broker?
I think it would very much depend on where you're at.
Okay.
Again, if you're a first home buyer, I would say, can you help me figure out how much I need to save?
A lot.
And then it would be, okay, how do I make sure, like, are you gonna help me with how I save?
You're not going to hold your hand.
Not going to hold your hand, but will you check in? Or are you just going to say, okay, you go away and come back? Are you going to make sure that I'm getting educated?
I get that with your young, yeah, I get that. Yeah,
Are you making sure that I'm educated along the way? Yep. Are you making sure that I've got resources to help me? Are you doing more than just saying, oh, you can probably spend this much, come back when you got this much cash? Or are you saying, okay, so we'll put you on this plan. Every month you should be saving this amount. Let me know if anything changes. In the meantime, I'm going to subscribe you up to our education program. It'll give you some tips along the way to help you stay on track, right? You've got those. But then you've also got as well, say in a situation where if you're having a separation, right?
Yep.
If you're having a big life change once you've got a home loan, it's, do you have anyone I can speak to about this? Who do you recommend I talk to get my plan going? That would be a big one. Do you have people that you trust that I can speak to that will help me as well? Because like you said, when it comes to a divorce, it's a big life change, right? It's
a bit inconvenient, yes.
It's very inconvenient, and a mortgage broker in a lot of ways can't tell you this is your division of assets, right?
No. It's more the plan post all that. And, you know, I had a pretty clean divorce. Had a couple of wrinkles, but like money-wise, you know, we had a pretty well understanding of what we both. And like, I also like speak to a lot of people about that life events are not permanent, as in you get divorced, you sell the house. It doesn't mean that you're not going to buy another house, or you're not going to like, I find people get very, oh my God, that was my one shot. You know, the prices are going to go up. Well, yes and no. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Do you find that a lot of people get very like FOMO'd about being out of the property market?
I think so. I think it's interesting, like the generational shift. I would say for those who are sort of in that millennial, like those are in their 30s at the moment, they're the ones that are kind of feeling that FOMO. To be in your 30s again. So they're feeling the FOMO, whereas I think Gen Z, like it's a dramatic word of feeling more nihilistic about it. Really, they're seeing the media and saying, well, I can't afford a $1 million property. What's the point? I'm going to live my 20s out. I feel like they're not feeling FOMO because there's not many people in their 20s doing it. But for those in their 30s, I feel like are definitely feeling that. But again, the average home buyer, first home buyer in Australia at the moment is, I think the number's 38 now. So there's time, like you were saying, there's a lot of time. Yeah. But I think it's definitely those in their 30s, and the way that those in their 30s, in their 20s can avoid feeling that way, putting their plan in place in their 20s so that they don't feel like they've missed the boat.
Yeah, I get that. Why don't we speak to a 20-something-year-old? I'm
a 20-something-year-old.
You're not you're a mature 20-something-year-old. I'm talking like a newly fresh something 20-year-old. Maybe that one over there.
Someone who's about to turn 21?
Yeah, maybe. If we had someone here, just about to turn 21. Like, what do you reckon about buying a house? Do you care?
Yeah.
Do you want to buy one right now, or is it just so far off?
Too far.
Why?
Maybe like 4 or 5 years.
Maybe? But are you starting to think about it now? What'd you buy?
Kia.
What colour? Oh, come on, you know what colour the car you bought.
It's like a grey.
It's a
space grey.
Space grey, dark grey. 4-door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sport Plus.
Sport Plus. Speeding fines, here we come. Okay. Well, it's a good point, actually. I just thought we'd, ask you the question. New car first. Does that make you like the designated driver in your friends group? Yeah. See, I had a ute in my 20s, and then I became designated house mover.
Yeah.
I had a HQ 1-tonner. Oh, I love that car. One of the cars I actually really regret selling. And, I became designated mover. So you're now like designated driver.
And house cleaner.
Why house cleaner?
Organizer.
Well, you love organising stuff. I know by the way you run this podcast.
Yeah.
James and I are just sitting back going, okay, well, whatever. Okay, I just thought we asked. A nearly 20-something-year-old.
21 in 3 months.
Man. Did you have a job? I didn't have a proper job at 20.
Nah, I was backpacking. Yeah.
Where were you backpacking?
From 18 to 21, I backpacked. I did Europe for a bit.
Yeah.
And then I did Southeast Asia for a bit, and then went back and lived in Thailand for a while. So I ended up working over there for a while.
And do you think that was a core value in what set you up today to work with youth as well? Because you've done all that backpacking and you've seen all that. And
yeah, I think for me, like I'm very much of the same mentality. Like living your 20s is so important. I dropped out of uni to go traveling.
What were you studying at uni?
Agricultural science at Melbourne Uni.
Okay, in 1997, I was ranked 3rd in the state for cattle judging in Western Australia. There you go. Agriculture. I know one or two things about that. Okay, so you dropped out and went, yep, not for me. You dropped out pretty early?
Yeah, finished a semester, and then I thought, wow, I'm going to have another 6.5 semesters of 6.5 years of this. And I was like, nah, I'm 18. I'm living in a share house that I can just ditch whenever I want.
Yep.
I'm going to go and backpack. So I took all my money out of savings, went and did a big travel, came back for a couple of months, worked, and then realised, nah, I'm still not ready to decide what I want to do yet. Backpack Southeast Asia. Couple of months, came back, same thing, was working for ages, and I was like, I still don't quite know what I'm going to do. Ended up going back over to Thailand because I loved it. Was meant to do a bit more traveling after that, but actually was volunteering over there, and then the volunteer group I was with actually asked me to stay on and work as an employee.
Well, who were you volunteering over there with?
Rescue Paws. So,
what does Rescue Paws do?
Animal sterilisation. So catching street dogs.
Was not expecting that.
Yeah, so catching street dogs and street cats, giving them their vaccines, treatments, everything, sterilising them, releasing them back out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Things that, man. And how did you do that for a while?
Yeah, so I volunteered for close to 2 months and then ended up staying and working for like 6 months.
Man, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
And they're good stories as well. I think young people need to live more in like just doing random stuff like that.
Yeah.
Less planning and more action.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very fortunate I fell into the career that I did, but yeah, I definitely wasn't ready to make any career choices when I was 18. That's for sure.
Yeah. I was going to do, what did I do? I went from agriculture to aquaculture to hospitality management. Man, time flies when you're having fun. I have a question for you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure what we're going to get back from this. What's Lioness Loans?
Lioness Loans is a business that a social enterprise that I'm a co-director of. That was actually born out of the volunteering that I do at Bridget.
Right. Okay. Tell me more.
So the Lioness program, I actually had one of the founders of Bridget come up to me and ask me about the housing benefits available for single mums. She's found herself living as a single mum for the past 2.5 years. She actually is in a co-living situation with another single mum and they help raise their kids together. So rather than her finding another partner, she's decided to co-live with another mum and they support each other with childcare, raising the children together.
That makes so much sense.
So much sense, right? The house is always so nice and tidy. All the kids' details are remembered. It works really well. But yeah, so she's done a lot of work. And again, she's been in housing support and homeless services for pretty much all of her working career. And yeah, her and I had a sit down and we started talking about different programs that are available to help single mothers into home ownership and the barriers that are in place for single mums and the unique problems they face. And again, Jenna and I, who's the co-director with me, we just started talking and from that we were like, look, we think this is a really big area. Single mums in so many ways are falling between the cracks because single mums in a lot of ways won't qualify for housing services if they can still qualify, if they're still renting. A lot of the time they're not qualifying for help from houseless support. From homeless support services, a lot of the time they don't qualify. And unless the exit they're leaving has started hitting them, a lot of the time they don't qualify for domestic violence support as well. So single mums will do anything for their children, right? They will go days without eating if it means that they've got a roof over their kids' head. So a lot of these women just really are struggling to build up the capacity to actually get into a house. And so that's something that Jenna and I really spoke about in ways that we can help mothers with that through supporting them emotionally with their money story, really trying to educate them financially, putting them through the savings programs that we do and actually teaching them how they'll be able to save for a house themselves, while also putting in place a lot of community supports too. So it's building up a network of single mums. So if someone can pick up an extra shift one day a week, but they're stuck with childcare and it's going to be too expensive childcare, it's going to outweigh the cost of them actually going and working the shift.
Yep.
It's building up a community support system in place where, okay, one of the mums that's in our network is available that day, she can take on the kids that day. If you can take one of her kids this way, building up a real network and community around single mums to help them earn more money, save more money, and through the coaching and support that we put in place for them, help them get into stable housing.
When you put this together and you went to the banks and your board of lenders, were they really on board with this? Because putting two single mums together under one mortgage sounds like a really smart idea.
Yeah. So what we've got in place at the moment, it's a lot of women who will go and potentially rent together, or a lot of what we've got in place at the moment is
Or renting, yeah. It just seems like really smart. Like,
yeah. So it's something, again, like the media is absolutely loving it because, again, people hear it and they're like, that makes so much sense as well. It makes so much sense. So a lot of the supports that we're doing when it comes to the banks is actually once they've had that extra earning capacity, extra savings capacity, we're helping them as homeowners for themselves as well. So we're having them be sole home owners. Sometimes they'll use, say, the family home guarantee scheme. So there's a lot of lenders that will allow for a 2% deposit to help them get into a home. So there's also as well the co-ownership schemes that for some of the women that we work with, they just don't have the earning capacity for higher repayments. So again, through Loan Gallery's been incredibly supportive of this, like full credit to my director for that as well. But we're helping those women if they do decide to go into the government co-ownership scheme. Us as a brokerage, we don't get paid on those loans. The government's made it so brokers can't actually help people with those loans.
Why?
It's a great question because brokers, again, are very good at understanding whether just because someone can afford something on paper doesn't mean they necessarily can, but we can't actually write it as brokers, but we're helping support the women actually approach the lenders, understanding what the lenders say back to them, translating it back to them while not taking a clip. Again, just because it's what we care about. And when you break the cycle of single mums, like forever penny pinching.
I get it. I get it. It's a little bit close to home for me, but like, you must be really disciplined with your time.
Yeah.
Because this work here that you're doing with Lioness Loans and Bridget is obviously very fulfilling work, but it doesn't put bank in the bank and pay the bills, as I say to my recruiters. How do you go with all that? Because obviously I'm not just talking about time management. I'm also talking about, boundaries and, bandwidth. And how do you you're very young, right? And, you've achieved a lot in a short amount of time, but holy shit, like, how do you do it all?
I think everyone used to joke that I am allergic to downtime.
I get that.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm someone who I'm motivated by doing, I'm motivated by seeing results, and I'm motivated by things that I care about. Again, when I'm looking at like the planning that goes into talking to these single mums, or I'm going and meeting them after a work day to have a chat with them, see how their budget's going, checking in, like are they looking at a new rental? Are they planning on moving a little bit further out for cheaper rent? Like those sort of catch-ups and that time spent fills my cup. I enjoy it so much. And again, like I understand as well, there's not many people who will go out of their way. And I'm very fortunate. Again, like I'm single, I'm young, I live alone.
Best way to be.
It's great. All I've got is some needy cats at home, and as long as they get fed of an evening,
they're all right.
They're all right. They're cats. They'll survive. They're not as needy as Sienna's cats that she was telling me about last night. But
Sienna has cats?
Yeah, I got two.
You got cats?
Yeah.
Really?
Hmm?
You feed them?
No.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Do you know why I'm surprised about her cats? She's never spoken to me about them ever.
That's all right.
I'm a dog person and got cats. Now I'm a cat person.
Okay.
It's the evolution.
It's the evolution of thing. What I'd like to have a really good chat about is, are you surprised in the direction of your career? Is I think what I'm trying.
I'm incredibly surprised. Like if you'd spoken to 18-year-old Rachel and told her that she's like working in operations for a mortgage broking company, I would have laughed. I always knew that I was going to have a big career and I was always going to achieve in one way or another, but finance is definitely not what I thought. I mean, in high school, like I went to a country high school, right?
Yep.
When I thought about a job in finance, I thought bank teller and accountant. Like I didn't know that there was other jobs in finance. It wasn't even something I thought about. So Yeah, I mean, for me, like, it was a surprise I've ended up here, but I always knew that whatever I wanted to do, it was always going to give back. Like,
Yep.
I'm very much someone who thinks that, like, I'm put on this world with a lot of empathy and a lot of drive, and that needs to go towards something that's actually making a difference for people. If I'm going to work in this industry that's got so much potential and so much potential for me and my growth, I need to be pulling up other people while I'm going up in my career. I should be pulling people up with me. And yeah, again, finance, if you don't have money, it's going to be really hard to get your life sorted in a lot of ways. Like, again, finance opens doors. It keeps you safe, keeps a roof over your head. And yeah, if there's a way that I can use, like, this fortunate position I'm in working in this industry to help other people, like, it's a no-brainer for me. So again, finance isn't where I thought I'd end up. I always knew I was going to be helping someone in one way or another, and I've just been lucky enough to be able to combine the two.
And to find your calling at such a young age is great. Like, I know so many people that are lost in their 30s, like even the 40s. They've been on this one direction in life and then something happens, breakdown of a marriage, and but I honestly believe life is an odyssey, and it works out all in the end. Something I'd love to speak to you about, and you've mentioned a couple of times, your sport, netball, coaching. Talk to me about that. Because again, it seems like another one of your passion pillars just came to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm a netball tragic.
What's that?
So anyone that's involved in netball knows that you're either someone that goes and plays for your one team, goes home, that's it, or you are constantly at netball. You're constantly coaching, umpiring, organising teams. You're filling in across multiples. Like, it's one extreme or the other. I feel like there's no such thing as like there's either a casual netballer or a netball fanatic. Like, there's no in between. And I very much fall into that. I love sport. I love community sport. I love one of my favourite statistics. I think it's 85% of women in executive roles have played sport at some competitive level before. Most leaders come from a sporting background, especially women. And netball
that is true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, and netball is a sport that, again, it's a female sport in a lot of ways. Netball.
That I would 100% agree with you.
It was branded as women's basketball. So netball was women's basketball because they had to wear the long skirts.
Am I allowed to ask you a controversial question?
Go for it.
Mixed netball, what's your opinion on it? It's a fucking no-go zone.
I love good mixed netball. The problem is most mixed netball isn't good.
Why?
And unfortunately, a lot of social mixed netball involves a lot of men who come from sports where they can argue with the umpire and be naughty. And
what you're telling me is men fuck the flow of the game up. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Hey, at the end of the day, like, I just needed to ask something that isn't like that. I don't fucking get it. Go play basketball.
Oh, see, I'm talking on the social side.
I'm talking, but we're kind of talking the same thing here. The energy, the whole, like, what the fuck?
I'm pretty heavily involved with the Victoria Mixed and Men's Netball Association.
Oh, shit, I'm going to look forward to the fucking comments on this.
No, what I absolutely love is that they've brought in, like, their amazing junior program.
Yep,
so
cool.
You've got very disciplined young men coming through netball, and those men playing at good competitive levels, I get a bit of sass back as an umpire. I do a lot of umpiring. So I get a bit of sass back. Fine. If you're sassing me with knowledge of the rules, okay, I get it. Like, if you
can respect where respect is due.
Exactly,
right? I get it. Yeah,
exactly. If you're sassing me with respect to the rules, fine.
Yep.
If you're sassing me when you don't know the rules, like at a social mixed netball comp, that's where I have an issue.
Come on. I feel there's a story there.
Oh, just the...
Come on.
I don't
We've
know.
got time.
I think
We've
I
got
would
time.
say,
We can change the names to whatever you want. Come on, there's a story there.
no,
Bring it.
there's been many
Let's talk a hypothetical story that may or may not have happened. Come on.
I fill in for a couple of social competitions that do mixed. And again, there's so many times where I've just had to pull a player over at quarter time and just say, I've been umpiring netball since I was 12. And I think you started playing this season because your girlfriend roped you in. I promise I know the rules better than you. Like, I promise I do. I'm not making things up. I'm not invested in your social team getting an extra point.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, like I promise it's not that deep. I'm here so that you can even have a game tonight. Like, shush, buddy. Like, shush. I promise I know the rules slightly
You're basically
better.
saying to him, you're doing a lot of this, and I need you to do
that
that.
less. Yeah. No, I love again at the mixed men's netball. I love getting some sass from those boys.
Yeah.
And there's times where they've sassed me, and then at the quarter time they come up to me and I'm like, look, you might have been right. You might have been right. I'm not going to say that I'm perfect. So sorry.
I bet you can see it coming a mile away as well.
Oh yeah, once
Body
they
language,
make the comment.
like eye contact. For fuck's sake, here we go.
Yeah, like I can tell when someone's just trying to like get a rise and be like, oh, I didn't. I'm like, no, you did. Versus one that's looking at me like, are you serious? I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I was standing in the wrong spot and saw it wrong. That's okay. But they're smart enough to know like it's that I was maybe standing in the wrong place and saw it the wrong way. Not like a social mixed netball team bloke who genuinely thinks I somehow have it out for him. It's like, no, dude, you move your feet. I don't know what to tell you. Like, get your girlfriend to film you and show it back to you after the game if you're not sure.
Is this a recurring theme where girlfriends rope in their boyfriends? And I'm assuming they're new-ish relationships and they were kind of in the, we're trying to impress this person stage.
Yeah, but ironically, I don't know how impressive it is when they're getting sassed back by an umpire at a social mixed game because he keeps like one of the umpires calls it happy feet, but it's when they like shuffle their feet. Like an under 11s, so like we train the young kids out of. Yeah, they're doing it as adults.
They're how hard can netball be? Yeah. How hard could this game be?
Yeah.
And we're spending quality time together.
And netball's got like a lot of rules.
Yeah.
A lot of rules, and they're not rules that come naturally if you've played any other sport. So, like, again, you just got to promise that I know I'm better than you.
Oh, I'm not even questioning that.
Like, the analogy you were making before with your dentist. The dentist cuts my gum a little bit. I'm not going to turn around and say to them, do you know what you're doing? Are you sure? They're like, oh, maybe he like nicked me a little bit and it was an accident. But like, I'm not going to then at the end when he's taken everything out of my mouth, turn around to him and be like, do you have it out for me or something?
And because you're tall as well, they're obviously a little bit intimidated. I get that. Oh, Jesus Christ. If you're watching this and you want to play mixed netball and your girlfriend's asking you to, play, maybe just think about it before we, but what we're trying to say is learn the rules.
Yeah, or just like watch a game of netball so you would need to know what it looks like. And it's not you standing right in front with your armpits in their face, right in front of them with your arms in front. You can't do that in netball. That's why the whistle keeps going.
How many coaching clinics have you run on mixed netball?
Oh, none. I like
maybe it's what you because of all the time you don't have is running a coaching clinic.
I'll do it with my under 9s and under 11s because they listen.
Okay.
Yeah, they listen.
So it's a lack of listening as well.
Yeah.
You could become a relationship coach. You realise that, yeah.
But I don't think you'd like my relationship coaching. It would just be break up with them.
It's okay. You can do that. I get what's sport taught you about leading people within, the work environment, also in your, in your passion projects as well. What's sport taught you?
I think especially from netball, like my big coaching role, I was a head coach for a club. So I had anywhere from 3 to 5 teams underneath me in a season. And again, massive skill levels. I had one player, incredibly talented, had played in the VNL for several years. And then I've got some who have maybe played one or two social games before and really were just trying to make new friends in Melbourne. So I think it's learning how to deliver information a wide amount of different ways based on experience, but also understanding people like to hear praise differently. People want feedback differently. And by understanding how people respond best to that, it's going to bring the best out of them. So again, like on a netball court, I know if I said to one of my wing attacks, you have to get this ball for me, this is your intercept, go get it. They will.
Yep.
Like I know they will. If I turn around to one of my defenders and I say, you're being lazy, get on your toes, they will.
Yep.
Whereas I've got some, I have to say to them, what do we talk about at training? Like what do we work on in the last exercise? Yeah, okay. All right. We said on our toes. I need you to go and apply that. I need you to go and do that now.
Do you think when you're trying to apply this also into a work sense, if people were more present instead of being on their phone or thinking about, you would, they would understand like what sports taught you is, you need to do things in a certain way. Is that why you think you're so good at finance?
I think the reason that finance makes sense for me, I'm very good at sport and strategy, and I think finance in a lot of ways is strategy. You're going to be very good at netball if you understand the rules, you understand the different plays that can be made, if you understand why players are doing certain things. I think the same can be applied with finance. If you understand how things work, why systems are in place. If I understand the makeup of an ETF and why certain stocks outperform in certain ways, if I understand the makeup of if I know looking at treasury bonds, what it's returning, that's going to tell me what the interest rate's probably going to be with the RBA. If I understand that
so you go that deep.
It's nice.
You knew interest rates were going up.
I feel like most people, this is one of the times when everyone pretty convincingly could say what was going to happen. But I think understanding things at a micro and macro level is what makes you good at anything. And I think the reason that I've been really good in my role with staff is because I've come from an environment where I'll happily pull a player aside and say to them, if I was addressing you on the sideline, do you want me correcting you? Do you want me encouraging you? Do you want me demonstrating to you? Actually asking those questions and knowing and jotting down for all of my players, okay, I know that Sarah really likes to hear, she doesn't like me calling out when she's going for a goal. She doesn't want to hear anything from the sidelines if she's going to shoot a goal. Whereas Josie, she very much needs to hear voice on the sideline before she is putting a goal up. Jotting all this bit of information down. I do the same with my team that I've got, my offshore team as well.
Yep.
I know how they like to receive feedback, and I know as well how they like to be encouraged too. So I think finance is an interesting one. You can be very good at the numbers and not good with people. Or you can be very good at the people, not good at the numbers. I think meeting yourself sort of halfway gives you the best opportunity. And then if you're not good at something, get someone else to do it as well. A lot of brokers in industry are trying to be people managers while also being the best brokers. I'm not ever going to be the best broker. That's why I manage the people.
No, I agree. I stand with money. I had a question for you. And it's just a personal view. Do you think people should go and buy a property by themselves if they can before they buy a property to get in a relationship?
This has to, for me, again, I'm not ever able to speculate, but me as a person and what I tell everyone in my life, women like my grandmother fought for us to be able to own property by ourselves.
Yep. I get that.
And have that safety and security. I think that especially for women, having property that you own yourself is going to set you up and make you more secure in any relationship. You know that you're never going to have to rely on someone And I feel like that makes sure that you're in a relationship for the right reason and you're not staying because you have to. You're staying because you want to.
I'd agree with that. Funny enough, a lot of people ask me, would I get married again? And I said, yeah, I've been open to the idea a couple of times, but I don't think I'd ever do a joint bank account again. Only because of the expectation around it. And I was even guilty of this. You take money out of the joint account, it creates, for whatever reason, like, geez, back in the day, 101 reasons. But like, I believe it kind of creates anxiety and angst that doesn't need to be there. And money's such a personal attachment thing. And like, I just find a lot of people ask me about it, and I just thought, I don't know. I always tell people, buy your own place first, because when not that we're doing a relationship podcast here, but like a lot of people that I see in relationships, they kind of form into one orb where you need your own individual people, and then you kind of come together and have shared values. And I think relationships have changed massively, especially in the last recent 10, 20 years, the definition of what a relationship was and what the expectations of that versus now is completely different. And I just think it's funny because, not funny as in ha funny, but funny that people don't acknowledge that when they're getting into relationships. And, I'm talking from experience here. Again, you don't get into something to get out of it. But like when we were unstitching the marriage and, putting the divorce in there and stuff like that, the biggest hurdle we had to get over was our joint debt that we have together, properties, this, that. Like we were pretty clean in the split, but like I have friends that, their divorces have been going on 3-4 years, and it's just fucking clusterfuck. Like, and all because the finances are just so intertwined and cross-blown. And do you think if people had a better understanding of financial literacy and what they were getting involved in? I know we're getting kind of deep off finance, but like when we're dealing with finances and mortgages, we're inevitably going to be dealing with human relationships, right? It's just I think. Do you think if people had better financial literacy, your job would be a little bit easier?
1,000,000%.
Why do you think that?
This is something I'm very, very passionate about, and I'm sure like my director's going to laugh when he sees me talking about this, because I feel like I can.
Who is your director?
Steve Matsoukas.
Steve, shout out, buddy.
Yeah, he's great, but I am always talking about binding financial agreements. Just something as well, like if you're having this conversation at the point in your relationship at its peak, where you love each other, you're planning a future together, and, you want the best thing for each other. If you can put that on paper, have you guys both sign off on it, again, that's going to bring you back when you get to a point where a relationship's fallen apart, things aren't good. There's going to be some kind of animosity. Yeah,
100%.
There. Having something you can point back to early on that says, okay, this is the agreement that we made.
So you're a big fan of prenup?
I am.
Even non-marital, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I say all the time, like I'm incredibly lucky. Like I've been able to build up like pretty good for myself as well. And
you've done amazing.
If I ever wanted to live with someone again or be in a relationship with someone, I would 100% get something written out, not just to protect me, but also protect them. We're going to be in one of the biggest wealth transfers. We've got older generations. People are going to get a lot of inheritance. People don't understand that binding financial agreement in a lot of ways is going to protect your inheritance as well, where we can say, okay, whatever my parents give me, whatever my grandparents, that stays mine. Whatever your family gives you, that stays yours. Things like that just make sure that money conversations are made easier if things get hard in a relationship. And again, there's something that needs to be revisited, but your partner's your biggest financial decision you can make. You want to make sure that they're aligned with you, that you have an idea. If you want to have work optional by the time you're 50, but your partner wants to spend their money, they want to drive nice cars and things like that, that's not aligned. If you don't want to send your kids to private school, but your partner does, that's a huge financial misalignment.
Yeah.
So these conversations, the earlier that you have them, the easier it gets. So again, rather than a 3-4 years drawn out affair, it's okay, I know binding financial agreements aren't perfect, but at least it's showing you on paper, hey, when we loved each other the most, this is what we wanted for each other. And it's a good way to at least try to bring yourself back into that mindset. And again, protecting where you started off as well, making sure that what you started off with stays yours, and instead the shared pool is what you built together. And what your parents spent their whole life working for, your grandparents, that they've left to you can stay with you, not your partner who you might break up with 2 years later, who all of a sudden gets half of what your parents spent their whole life working to save for you.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think of the de facto laws.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a minefield out there.
It is. And yeah, I think the more financially educated people can be, the better, especially with the work I do with, single parents who a lot of the time, especially when the kids are young, they've done nothing wrong. Single mothers get punished for being the parent that stayed as well. They get demonized for being the parent that stayed and is doing everything they can to support their child. And we don't support them, and a lot of the time they've given up work to have the child and raise them, and then they get left with not much to show for it. If we do a better job of educating people early on, again, a lot of these women in a binding financial agreement or in discussions before you have kids, it can be that negotiation of, okay, you want me to stay home and raise the kids, you need to contribute to my superannuation.
That's fair.
Okay, I want to make sure that I'm going back to work this many days a week, you need to take 1 day off a week so that I can keep myself in the workforce. If people are encouraged to have these conversations with a partner before, like a lot of the time you won't, again, ideally you wouldn't be having children with someone that's not willing to meet you, especially as a woman, meet you and make sure that you're going to be supported if this marriage or relationship does fall apart.
I have a similar family thing, and not that I'm going to discuss it today, but like you're definitely you are who you're like, your environment you bring up in, and especially what I was thinking is if you have got very stable. Grown up in a very stable relationship, parents are still together, they've worked hard, they've got, really good things to show for it. But yes, they're getting older and they're passing on, and then that wealth transfer is coming, and you don't know what you don't fucking know. And you get with this person thinking it's going to be forever, and you're together for 2 years, and then your de facto rule kicks in, even if you're not married, and you have a kid because that's what happens. And then man, the world is a nasty place if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly. And again, I think it's the responsibility of people who are in the financial services to cut out jargon and make it easier for people to get financially educated.
Do you think that is the role of the broker?
I don't think it's a role of a broker.
Or the financial.
I think financial services and the finance industry in itself thrives in a lot of ways on expertise.
Yep.
I think that there's been a lot of benefit in industry from people not being too educated coming to experts. But now again, there is the opportunity. We have people have more access to education. So it means those in those financial services need to level up in their knowledge, their emotional intelligence, and their way of helping people. I think that if you want to be good in this space, I don't think it necessarily needs to be your responsibility, but if you take it on as your responsibility, you're going to set yourself apart, you're going to get a more loyal clientele, and you're going to make impact on people in a way that makes a difference. So it should be the responsibility. Whether people choose to take that on or not, their prerogative. I think those are goodwill, and they're the ones who are going to see, as we were talking about earlier with AI and tech coming in, it's those people that are going to be set apart, and they're the ones that are going to succeed, while those that don't step up in those ways to really help people in more areas, they're going to fall behind.
I completely agree with you. It's embrace the new tech, understand the new tech. Don't be anti-tech. Don't be anti-change. Yeah, I 100% synergize with you. What does balance actually mean to you? What's your definition of balance? You can have a minute to think about it as well. Like, what does balance mean to you? Because it means different things to me. I'll give you an example. Like, I'm balanced if I get 6 to 7 hours night sleep. Doesn't matter how much I work, whatever. I'm happy if I sleep, take my car out on the weekend. I'm pretty happy. What's balance to you?
Balance for me, I love the gym, even with all the netball that I do. So
Okay.
I know
routine?
if I'm losing that, if I'm not finding time to go to the gym, I'm losing my balance. If I'm not making the time to go down, visit my family down in Gippsland, that's when I'm losing balance. But it's making sure I still show up for my friends. I'm very busy, so I'm not great at the, catch-ups during the week. If someone says, hey, we're going to pub trivia tonight, can you come? It's like, no, I'm at netball. But it's making sure that balance for me is showing up for the big events, the birthdays, everything, but still making the time for that, like one-on-one coffee, a walk, everything like that too. If I feel like I haven't made that social time in 2 weeks because I've been so busy, that's loss of balance. So it's making sure I'm prioritizing my gym and my family and my friends. And then I'm waking up in the morning. I wake up every morning, and after I've got through the drive into work, I get to my office and I'm happy. I love my job. If I lose that, I'm not balanced. If I'm going to work and I'm not happy to be there, like, I'm losing my balance. Because it sounds so annoying, but I love my life and I love my job. And if I find that I'm not enjoying the thing that I'm spending 9 to 10 hours a day doing, that's when I've lost balance. So as long as I'm getting in the morning and happy, I'm balanced.
Fantastic answer. So I'm going to run a hypothetical by you.
Mm-hmm.
I go to your office. I interview all your colleagues in the office. I interview the director. I interview even some of your clients. What are they going to be telling me about you?
Hopefully nice things.
What are they going to say? I'm assuming they're going to say nice things.
I would like to think that they would say I'm very bubbly, quite loud in the office. Like, when I'm in the office.
Yeah, that's okay.
But
you're tall. It happens.
But also I've had the director refer to me as a social conscience of the company.
Why's that?
Because I'll go out of my way to spend my free time rather than relaxing. It's giving back. It's volunteering. It's what I'm doing with the Single Mums program. It's going and umpiring like community sport. It's umpiring little under 9s and under 11s on a Saturday morning, because I think it's like so nice to bring up a new confident generation of young women. It's setting up our food bank donations.
Amen to that.
We're doing a Yarra River cleanup tomorrow. So we're going to go and pick up litter tomorrow morning because I organised it, and I think it's a good thing to do. So
It's a great thing to do.
I think so too. So
marine
I'd like
ecosystem is huge.
100%. And I'd like to think that, like a lot of the Loan Gallery staff would say that I'm very passionate. I enjoy giving back, and that I'm good at the systems, operations, processes side as well, which again is a part of it, but it's the results that I care about. It's the education that I care about.
Great answer. What should one thing Australians should understand about their finances? Like the one big thing that you see, like why do you not understand that?
Well, it's what Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world.
Tell me more about that.
So compound interest, obviously the concept of when you've got an interest rate, if you're putting money in, you get the returns on the interest rate of the money you had there plus what you add in, and it works exponential graph, right? When we look at compound interest. Those who don't understand it don't benefit from it and fall trapped to things like personal debt. If you've got interest on a car loan, you're paying a lot more than what you paid for the car, right?
Correct.
Those kind of concepts. But if you're investing early, if you're getting a property when you're younger, you're benefiting from property values going up, or you're paying down a loan, you're benefiting, your asset goes up, right? So really it's making sure that you're not falling victim to compound interest, you're benefiting from compound interest.
Yeah. And I guess people don't understand about compounding interest until they understand they get a mortgage.
Yeah, and then you look at the amortization calculator and you see how much you're paying versus what your debt is as well.
What do you think of equity offset drawing loans?
I think so debt recycling we're seeing pretty common. So we're seeing a lot of people utilise debt recycling. It's a strategy that I utilise in my personal life.
Because you understand it.
I understand it and I'm strategic with how I do it. When you're looking at pulling out equity for things, again, you're going to be paying an interest rate on that. So you need to make sure that the benefit outweighs the additional interest that you're paying on that loan of equity that you've pulled out. So there's a lot of people who say, like myself, like I'm not going to get another property for a while. I'm happy with the property portfolio I've got with the two, planning to do a development in a couple of years. Instead, I'm looking at the share market. So I'm making sure if I'm pulling equity out against my own occupied property, again, I get to take it out as an investment loan, which means that the interest that I am paying is tax deductible. I get that benefit. But I need to make sure that the returns that I'm going to get will outweigh the amount of interest that I'm paying on that loan.
A lot of people are doing that, or you're just saying they're just pulling the money out for whatever?
I think that most people who are getting good advice. I have a financial advisor.
Yeah, I expect, 100%.
And it's funny, like a lot of people who work in the finance industry assume they know what they're doing and don't get advice, but you come in with biases. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So again, I'm someone who's always listening to different podcasts about finance, shares, everything like that.
Self-education is important.
Exactly. But sometimes you overestimate your education in some areas. So again,
what do you mean by that?
Like sometimes I've listened to podcasts before. This
is your opinion.
I've listened to podcasts before and started getting myself into leveraged ETFs, which
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, again, which performed very well, like did very well for a while. And I heard and I was like, oh, okay, like I'm really smart. I can watch this. I can make sure these keep performing.
I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing as well. Which again, like it did quite well. And then a couple months later, I went and saw an advisor. I was talking to them and they were like, you've leveraged on your leverage. So I've went and got debt recycled out.
Move.
Risky move.
Baller move. Come on. You're young enough to recover.
I am young enough to recover. However, speaking to an advisor, laying it out, talking about it, I'm incredibly happy now that when the RBA has lifted interest rates twice and we've seen the share market very much dip off because of everything that's obviously happening in the Middle East right now. And
they're a bit upset over that.
Not great. So good thing I'd spoken to a financial advisor.
And unwound it.
Yes. And they'd said to me, look, let's look at a balanced ETF instead, like still growth, let's make sure, but you're already leveraging by taking out equity against your property. Let's not double dip. And good thing I did because now it's all sitting there out of sight, out of mind.
I tell you where you and I differ. And I love that approach, and that's very financial advisor, and I'm not giving financial advice, but I've always been one for be on one path until successful. Win, draw, whatever. That philosophy has made me money. It has lost me money. It has, but I guess what you're trying to say is what I'm saying here as well is you've got to invest, you've got to take the home as per your core values. Because if you don't, you're not going to stick to it. There's no point having this 30-year plan and this budget and the goal if you're not going to stick to it. If you buy the house and then go on the trip to Bali. Like you got to do things by that. As we wind down this podcast, where do you see your career going? Because you're definitely a beacon of the finance industry. I look like, you know, for what you've done in such a small amount of time, you're going places.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I've really, really found my niche in where I'm at. I'm very, very passionate about financial education. I really value the amount of difference that we as brokers can make.
Yep.
I see myself staying in this industry for a very long time.
I do too.
Very much inspiring change in the industry and building up brokers who are supporting clients, supporting the community, and making sure that, again, I want every Australian to be able to retire comfortably with a roof over their head. And if I stay in this industry, I'm going to make sure that anyone that comes into Loan Gallery, that's what they're supported to do. And I think I'm just going to continue to do that, build it out.
I would agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you.
I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope you have as well.
Yes.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.